Tonight on News 5, a night out turns into a nightmare. A mother of 3 is gunned down just moments after a popular lounge opens its doors. Another family shattered just days before Mother's Day. A grieving mother left to mourn her son after a brazen killing in the city. And tonight, the voice at the center of one of the country's most disturbing cases finally speaks. But 3 weeks later, still no arrests. Plus, rising tension at a Michael Finnegan market. Small vendors say new rules could cost them everything. And relief at the pump or political pressure. One UDP caretaker steps in with his own plan as fuel prices squeeze families. This is News 5 and it starts right now.
Celebrate the woman who makes the house feel like home all month long. Great deals like 15% off bathroom and kitchen fixtures from Moen, Hansgrohe, and Duraflow. Plus 15% off Hispasensa tiles, Stormguard windows, and 40% off Sunlight windows. And 15% off Berger paints and huge savings on clearance colors. So come in to Habet and Abet or Brothers Abet, call us or WhatsApp us today and make this Mother's May one to remember. Happy Mother's Day to all marvelous moms.
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, May 8th. I'm Jamie Rock. A night meant for business quickly turned into a crime scene in Belize City, and tonight a family is left shattered. Just moments after the Buzz Lounge opened its doors on Thursday, gunfire erupted inside the popular Philip Golson Highway establishment. A 34-year-old mother of 3, Salma Funes, was shot and killed, stunning co-workers and patrons alike. Now, police are piecing together what led to the deadly encounter. Surveillance footage tracks the suspect's movements before the shooting, and investigators have since detained a 16-year-old male in connection with the case. As questions mount, so does the grief and the urgency for answers. Paul Lopez reports.
This is the very moment leading up to a 16-year-old fatally shooting 34-year-old Salma Funes, mother of 3, inside the Buzz Lounge on the Philip Golson Highway. The establishment had just opened its doors and things were only beginning to come to life. Funes, an employee, sat near the bar as the night got underway, while her colleague, the bartender, worked behind the counter, getting everything ready for the evening crowd. Just behind her, 2 other staff members were seated, taking in the early moments of the shift. One of them later spoke with News 5 off camera about what unfolded.
And we just open, so I just want to sit down, take out my stuff to get ready, fix my hair. And then one spell, my friend told me that how she sees somebody walk in the establishment. I went straight to the bathroom, which is kind of strange, but I had my back turned, so when I look, I not see nobody.
That individual, a 16-year-old boy, who walked inside the bar at 6:28 p.m., wore a mask to conceal his identity. After exiting the restroom, he approached Funes. Surveillance footage shows an interaction between them.
If they had any argument or something, it probably had to be like soft, because I didn't hear any argument and I was close. I heard no one talking.
In speaking with News 5, Funes' brother-in-law, Joshua Trapp, says the assailant approached her and demanded her phone.
The only thing we could understand from our witness is that the person went direct to her and asked her for her phone. So the question is why, who is he, we cannot answer that question as yet.
2 other employees were grazed in the spray of bullets, including one we spoke with. She received injuries to her head.
It snapped to my mind when I literally saw blood rushing down from my head. The only thing I could have think about at the moment was my kids, and then I ran. I just remember seeing my coworker lying on the ground. I just saw her lying on the ground, and my next coworker crying, said she got shot in the hand.
Funes' brother-in-law says she wasn't known to be involved in any activity that would have led to her death.
As far as I know her for the past 10 years. She's all about from work to home, I can't say what she does on her half time more than, hang out with her kids. Her kids were her life.
Police confirmed that the minor has been detained for questioning. We inquired about a possible motive.
There was some indication that he may have threatened her before, and those messages would have been on the phone. So it is suspected that him, in his puerile state, thought taking away the phone allows him to cover the evidence.
Police detained the suspect on Thursday night.
Operational efforts were put into place as a part of that investigation, and sometime around 11:30 p.m. last night, having reviewed a number of video footage, this male minor was apprehended. I can also confirm that just a short while ago, the firearm that was suspected to have been used in the incident was also recovered. What I can confirm is that the victim and the accused that is in detention were familiar with each other.
Reporters asked whether the two were living together at any point.
That is the extent of the information that is going to be disclosed at the moment. At Monday's press briefing, I will provide further update as it becomes necessary to do so.
According to TRAP, the family is hopeful justice will prevail following the investigation.
My sister is a very, very loving person. Like I said, a mother of 3, hardworking, and she basically used to live for her kids. That I could tell anyone.
In the aftermath of the incident, authorities established several vehicular checkpoints and eventually caught the suspect. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
As police continue to investigate the murder of Funes, they are now turning their attention to misinformation online. The department is warning a social media news blog that shared an AI-generated image of a supposed suspect. ASP Stacey Smith calls the move reckless, stressing it could put an innocent person at risk, especially since police say the real suspect looks nothing like the man in the image.
I wish to address a very concerning occurrence that I noted on social media by one of these, I don't know what you refer to them as. What did you refer to them as? News blogs, which would have shared an AI-enhanced photo of the assumed suspect in this incident. Firstly, it is important to note that conducting yourself as such serves to detract the investigative process. The photo that is being displayed looks entirely different from the person who is in custody, both in features and age. The danger that this creates is that there may just be a man in Belize City that looks like that person that you have broadcasted on social media, and that person may be targeted because it is a heinous offense that was committed. So again, I would like to appeal to those members of the media, whether the regulated one or the unregulated one, or those persons who have taken the task onto themselves to be informers or persons who inform the public, to be very ethical in your undertaking, because you certainly put lives at risk and you detract from the process of investigation.
Investigators plan to hold a follow-up conference on Monday to share updates with the public on their findings. As families across Belize City get ready with flowers, hugs, and Sunday plans, one mother is bracing for something very different. Another Mother's Day marked by heartbreak. Helen Samuels won't be celebrating. Instead, she's mourning. Her 29-year-old son was gunned down in a brazen attack in the Cet Site area, leaving Samuels to grapple with a loss no parent is ever prepared for. It's the kind of grief that doesn't pause for the holidays, and this weekend it feels especially heavy. While others plan tributes to their mothers, Samuels is remembering her child and facing the painful silence his absence has left behind. For her, Mother's Day won't be about celebration. It will be about survival. News 5's Paul Lopez tells her story.
I struggle in a life, and every struggle I go through in a life, it make me stronger. So what they do to me, I feel like they want bring me down or make me get discouraged in a life. I tell her I got news for them.
Helen Samuels has spent a lifetime holding things together. The Cet Site resident has weathered her share of struggles, carving out a life for her children in a modest wooden house that tells its own story. It may not stand out to passerby, but to Samuels, it represents years of sacrifice, determination and love, a place she built piece by piece to keep her family safe. Behind its worn boards is where she raised her children, did without so they wouldn't have to, and created a sense of home in the face of constant challenges.
Everybody may live in here. These are the roots of everything will take place in here. If this house I come and talk, it talk. You understand me? I get wet up in here, rain, thunder, lightning come, hurricane come.
That is until she received a starter home from the government of Belize. But even those concrete walls cannot contain the grief that she's experiencing tonight, as she faces one of her most difficult life challenges to date.
Now I got 4 sons. My oldest son dead in 9 months. Then they come and kill my son when he's 29, that's the oldest one. Now they come back and kill the oldest one. We're living now 29.
Tonight, Helen Samuels is mourning her 29-year-old son Jamal. On Thursday evening, he stepped out of his Cet Site home to make a quick purchase nearby. While there, gunmen showed up and opened fire, fatally wounding him. His sister was among the last family members he spoke to.
I just hear the gunshot and I never know that my brother would take them. They are moving shots. Never know. And then like they mean killer, man. They mean killer. They never have no mercy, nothing, no heart for my brother.
No hang. You know, a person hang. Yeah, hang home like house. Yeah, roll up the weed and sit down front of the yard and smoke and drinks. Most of the time, here find that the yard right there, sit down front of the gate. You know, a person who hang. You know, a person who got cut lot of company night and he hang by himself.
His family believes that the shooters opened fire indiscriminately and that he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. So, was he the intended target?
It is not clear, however, we suspect that this incident is as a consequence of the internal rift that exists in the Bakalan area. I will also say that Mr. Samuels is known to police, having been charged just last year for drug trafficking.
Helen Samuels says her greatest regret as a mother was her inability to move her children out of Belize City to live elsewhere.
I just wish I could come and live there out of Belize with my 2 sons. I just wish I could move, because only 1 son I got now. They left me in my last son. I don't know how I want to get through with this, because this brings back all memories to me with my first son.
According to Samuels, authorities detained her only living son following Thursday night's incident. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Helen Samuels says authorities detained her only living son following Thursday night's incident. Heightened police activity is drawing attention in the Cet Site area tonight as investigators zero in on a possible link between 2 violent incidents. Authorities say the recent murder of Jamal Samuels may be connected to this week's shooting along the Philip Goldson Highway that left Hubert Baptist and Eric Frazier hospitalized. With tensions rising, officers may have stepped up their presence as they work to restore a sense of calm in that community.
At the present moment, since the incident happened from last night, we engaged our operational teams within the area with an effort to prevent incidents from happening due to that We knew from the beginning when we had the incident of Mr. Baptist and the Philip Golson Highway that retaliation was possible. And from then we activated our operations within that area. So that is what we are continuing to target known persons that might cause havoc within the area of the Martins.
So can you confirm that this murder and Baptist do have any kind of correlation?
There is a possibility that yes, they are connected.
We'll continue to monitor the situation in the area and the effectiveness of police operations over the weekend. There's more news after the break, so stay tuned.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, Beloved, now are we the sons of God, and it doth not yet appear what we shall be. But we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. And every man that hath this hope in him purifieth himself, even as he is pure. My first trip to Belize was in 1980. The next year, or in 1981, after many years of struggle, Belize was finally given her independence from England and declared to be an independent and sovereign nation. If my memory serves me correctly, a few years later the Queen of England made a visit to Belize. The announcement that Queen Elizabeth of England would be coming to Belize created an excitement among all the Belizeans. A visit by such royalty demanded special preparation, and Belizeans arose to the challenge of the occasion by giving the Queen a royal Belizean welcome. The highway from the airport to Belize experienced major repairs and restoration. Special meetings were carefully scheduled, and the menus for the dinners were officially selected. All of this because the Queen was coming. Sometimes we need to pause and to be reminded that one day an event even greater than this is going to occur, not only in Belize, but throughout the entire world, and that is that Jesus Christ, King of Kings and Lord of Lords, is going to return to this earth. His coming demands preparation. The Bible says we must repent of our sins and be cleansed, for truly the King is on his way. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progresso, Belize City, Orange Walk, and more on the way. We're bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about signal. It's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. SMART, bringing people together.
Our story was built by people, neighbors helping neighbors, standing side by side with those who trust us to protect what matters most and help build our communities. Being there when needed most. Across borders, across generations. Still growing, still giving, still just getting started. After 185 years.
Calling all the young stars across the Stan Creek District. This is your moment. Open Your Eyes Summerfest 2026 auditions are heading to the culture capital, Dangriga. Join us on May 16th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Alejo Beni Park and show us what you've got. Singing, dancing, drumming, poetry, acting, whatever your talent is, we want to see it. This is all about the kids, the energy, and the future stars of Belize shining bright. Bring your confidence, bring your vibes, and bring the family to cheer you on. Don't miss your chance to be a part of Open Your Eyes Summerfest 2026. It all starts at the audition.
A heated argument outside a San Pedro grocery store has now turned into a police manhunt. Authorities are searching for an 18-year-old suspect accused of opening fire during the dispute on Thursday night. The victim survived and received medical treatment, but the shooter remains at large. Police say they are actively tracking his whereabouts as the investigation continues.
Police are seeking an 18-year-old male minor of San Pedro as a part of an investigation into a shooting incident which resulted in the injury of 32-year-old Winston Caetano of San Pedro Town. What we know so far is that on Thursday, 7th May, just before 9 o'clock p.m., Caetano went into a grocery store on the island and an argument ensued between him and the male person. Caetano departed and returned shortly thereafter, and that was when the male person produced a firearm and fired a shot which injured him in the shoulder.
Police have not yet named the suspect. We'll continue to follow. Senator Patrick Faber is now cleared of all criminal charges after a Belize City magistrate dismissed 2 counts against him this week: obstruction of a police officer and aggravated assault. The charges stemmed from a late-night encounter on Bay Street last year when police stopped Faber's vehicle after running a checkpoint near Belchina Bridge. Officers claimed he got too close while recording one of them, despite being warned to step back. But when the matter came up in court on Tuesday, May 5th, the case was thrown out. Authorities have not said why. Faber was represented by attorney Urson O.J. Elrington. 3 weeks after his disappearance sent shockwaves through southern Belize, the alcalde of Indian Creek is finally speaking out. Marcus Canty was found alive but shaken after what police believe may have been an abduction, fueling concerns about rising tensions in the Maya village. Now, for the first time since that ordeal, Canty is breaking his silence, opening up about the deep-rooted disputes, leadership struggles, and the frightening experience that thrust his community into the national spotlight.
Police come on several occasions to try to pick me up, but usually they find me with a crowd of villagers. And so they don't take me because the people are there to witness. Unfortunately, on April 13th, I made one wrong decision. To quickly go to my farm by myself to pick up my tomatoes, and I can only suspect that they were monitoring my movement. Because before that time, I always have someone I trust with me, but I wasn't there for more than a few minutes. And I had already picked my tomatoes when I was suddenly attacked, hit, and forcefully taken. The first 4 men came to grab me, and they were joined by a 5th who held me at gunpoint and took me to a truck waiting on the roadside. And I later realized there was a 6th person in the vehicle where I was pushed in, tied up and bounded. My hands, legs, mouth, and eyes were bound. These men wore face masks, but I was able to identify a few of them by voice ID.
Tonight, new questions are being raised about the investigation into the alleged abduction of Indian Creek alcalde Marcus Canty. While he's now speaking publicly about his terrifying ordeal, Canty is also voicing frustration, saying 3 weeks later, no one has been arrested, despite police having his statement, and he claims the identities of those involved. Now he's challenging investigators to act, instead insisting that if a crime was committed, justice should not be delayed.
I am very concerned at the slow pace that the police is taking. I am concerned that there is no regular updates from the investigating unit. Every time we have to try to call, to ask for updates, and not much is being done. It appears to me like they are not taking this matter seriously. The job of the police is to investigate and bring justice when a crime is committed. And I can say for a fact that a crime was committed on me, being forcefully taken from my farm against my will, being held hostage without water and food, being beaten and bounded and eventually discarded of this. If this happened to any of you, would you call it a crime? Insist that the police do an extensive investigation and to bring charges against those whom I have already identified. You have my statement. You know who I identify. Let them prove their innocence or uncover their guilt.
The Toledo Alcalde Association is now calling for justice in the case of Indian Creek Alcalde Marcus Canty, while also pointing to deeper tensions in the village. Spokesperson Christina Cox says the conflict goes beyond one incident, highlighting long-standing disputes over land use, authority, and conservation enforcement. She argues those unresolved issues, including the presence of Yache Rangers, have fueled growing friction the government has yet to address.
This is a serious matter. This is an abduction of a local magistrate. We impress upon the police to pursue every angle. Just because we are poor indigenous people doesn't mean a crime against us is any less to investigate. The root cause of this problem, as you have heard, began with the introduction of the Yache Rangers. This is a third-party interest using its powers, using its resources, using its authority to interfere with customary users of land. All of this has been documented and reported. So I will say here that all of this is what has escalated to the point that we are here now. Make no mistake, the unlawful targeting and abduction of Mr. Canty is not an isolated matter.
Coming up, government calls it a breakthrough, but Maya leader says there's no deal and tensions in San Marcos are only getting worse.
Every day, we access energy for cooling, lighting, and powering our electrical appliances and devices at work and at home. During cooler months, we rely less on cooling appliances such as fans and air conditioners. However, during warmer months, as the temperature and humidity rises, we use more energy to cool our spaces, and our appliances and electrical devices work harder than they do during the rest of the year. When the months become hotter, let's all practice energy conservation. Here are a few changes that you can make to manage your energy use. Check that all appliances and electrical devices are working efficiently. Turn lights off when not in the room. Unplug chargers, appliances when not in use. Turn off fans and TVs. Use energy-saving light bulbs such as LEDs. And look for the Energy Star products when purchasing appliances and electrical devices. These easy changes can reduce energy use and costs. You can also monitor your energy use during the month by reading your meter and calculating the reading using BEL's bill calculator on our mobile app or by visiting our website. Let's all save energy.
Over the past 5 years, Digi has invested more than $17 million to revolutionize Belize's digital future. Our advanced 4G LTE network and expanded fiber infrastructure have empowered vital road arteries, connected the farthest valleys and fertile farmlands, linked the bustling cities to the remote keys, and brought cutting-edge connectivity to schools, businesses, healthcare centers, and tourist destinations, fueling economic growth, enhancing education, and strengthening communities across the nation. By choosing Digi, you're leading Belize's digital transformation, bridging distances, opening opportunities, and empowering every corner of our beautiful country. Connect with Digi. Empower Belize.
Protect your motor, secure your property. Oh yeah, home protector insurance got you covered, you see. Covered, you see. From motor to property, and even marine. We'll keep you safe no matter where you've been. No matter where you've been, no matter where you've been. Get the peace of mind that only we can bring. Oh yeah, with our insurance you will never fret or sing. Never fret or sing. We offer bonds and so much more, so much more. Home protector insurance, we got what you're looking for, what you're looking for. Secure your...
People don't travel with cash anymore. People would stop and they want to do a coffee tour, they want to buy coffee, but people don't have cash with them. Online banking facilitated a lot of what we do. I don't have to run to town and I have to use fuel and other expenses. Atlantic Bank actually approached us. They facilitated us with a bank account, which is something that we didn't have in hand, and then with a POS machine. I sit and sip my good cup of coffee and do payments.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Greater Belize Media. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Greater Belize Media.
Government representatives are describing Wednesday's meeting in San Marcos as a breakthrough in the ongoing land dispute between villagers and a private landowner. But Maya leaders say the talks produced no real agreement and warned that tensions on the ground are only growing. Spokesperson for Toledo Alcaldes Association and Maya Leaders Alliance, Christina Cox, says the conflict is already heading toward the courts and is urging government to step in before San Marcos reaches the same boiling point seen in Indian Creek.
Listen to what is happening in San Marcos. A single third-party owner who already holds thousands of acres of land is now moving to clear new areas that is customarily used by members of San Marcos. He has lawyered up, and his lawyer is insisting that the village signs an undertaking to not trespass on his private property. How is it trespass when you, as Maya people, also have customary rights to use that same land? There was no agreement reached on Wednesday at the meeting. Nothing substantive. the government decided that they would send technicians from the lands department to measure the area of overlap where the competing interests exist. Following that, another meeting is scheduled. Although, let me make it very clear, the attorney of Mr. Peña has clearly indicated that he is taking this issue to court for redress. We hope and pray that this conflict in San Marcos does not escalate any further, and God forbid we end up in the same situation as Indian Creek.
Just months after the Caribbean Court of Justice stepped back from direct oversight, the Maya land rights case is heading right back to its doors. Maya leaders say talks with the government have stalled on key issues, especially around defining and protecting customary lands. Now they're asking the region's highest court to step in again, seeking clarity on its original ruling and what comes next in this long-running dispute.
The Maya people and the government of Belize are far apart on core issues, in particular on the identification of Maya customary lands. And the many meetings that we have had, the many opportunities, the many efforts to try to resolve this through peaceful negotiations, these meetings are not closing this gap. So I stand before you today as the spokesperson of the Toledo Alcaldes Association and the Maya Leaders Alliance to inform the general public that we have filed an application before the Caribbean Court of Justice to seek clarification on the core orders of their judgment. This has become necessary because we are not progressing substantively on the implementation of the CCJ consent order and judgment. We have very high regards for this court, and we are hopeful that the clarifications provided will help the parties to advance the effective implementation of the CCJ consent order.
As the land dispute in southern Belize drags on, a new and controversial idea is gaining traction: compensation. Some landowners say they're willing to walk away for the right price, while others have already invested heavily in properties now under dispute. But what about the Maya communities at the center of it all? Today, leaders weighed in on whether compensation is even on the table and what fairness would really look like.
Fundamentally, compensation is an option. And it should be an option for either the Maya people or the third parties. And we have made proposals on coming up with a creative formula that could be within the bounds of the Constitution in determining the nature of compensation. So let's say, for instance, if a third party obviously have an investment has been there, it would be totally unfair to just come and tell the person, get off this land. But there are instances where you have third party holding huge tracts of land, have never set foot on those lands, have just been speculating. It's also unfair then to tell Maya people, get out of that piece of land. So these are the intricacies, and this is where the leadership of the government needs to become much more declarative in terms of how we deal with these nuances. But the bottom line is that the Constitution of Belize needs to be the underlining framework that will determine compensation to either parties. I'll add a small piece. We've even offered to the government of Belize that we recognize that life is hard in Belize. We don't want to pay out of our pocket, out of the public purse, more of these things. Other countries have resolved these kind of matters by creating a special fund, by working with the indigenous peoples themselves to find funding that could help to bridge this gap.
The standoff at the Michael Finnegan market is intensifying, with small retailers now raising fresh concerns about how new rules are being enforced. Just days after the mayor insisted the issue was about compliance, not confusion, vendors say enforcement officers showed up with strict new limits, telling them they can only sell on Saturdays. For some, that could mean losing their livelihood. We spoke with one small farmer who said these changes could push him out of business.
The manager of the market come here today and tell us that we can sell no more until only one day during the week, which is Saturday. My product is long Chinese vegetables. Mostly Belizean don't know about it. The only Chinese buy that product, and they come on Tuesday and Friday at the market because they buy wholesale and they buy this product too, because only a few farmers plant it, you know, and that's my concern today, that I can't come sell no more again. So if I come on Saturdays, mostly Chinese no come out on Saturdays, only on Tuesdays and Fridays. So how I gonna sell my product? And they say that the government they do this, Johnny Briseño. So I don't know if that's true or what's happening, you know, because when they come to me, I want to record them, and they say I can't do that, and they just tell me you can't come sell no more, and they gone and talk to all those guys over there who are doing retail also.
News 5 reached out to the Belize City Council for comment. Coming up, a Belizean resort goes green and scores big, earning top honors for sustainable tourism in the Caribbean.
Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progresso, Belize City, Orange Walk, and more on the way. We're bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about signal, it's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. SMART, bringing people together.
In Belize, change is taking shape every day. It all starts with game changers. Investing in modern transport, better health infrastructure, renewable power for all, digital transformation, and more opportunities for a brighter future, the European Union's Global Gateway Initiative is unlocking new potential. Game changers are bringing this to life. Game changers, empowering the future. Follow the EU in Belize to meet the game changers.
The future is calling. Belize Bank. Your future, our commitment. In May, make Benny's your one-stop shop for appliances.
Get amazing deals for mom and appliances all May long. Benny's, quality and savings.
Every connection we make is more than just a signal. It's a student unlocking a future through digital education. A young mind daring to dream bigger. Our culture shared with the world in real time. And everyday heroes answering the call of civic duty. When we connect with Digi, we empower Belize.
Calling all the young stars across the Stan Creek District. This is your moment. Open Your Eyes Summerfest 2026 auditions are heading to the culture capital, Dangriga. Join us on May 16th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Elejo Beni Park and show us what you've got. Singing, dancing, drumming, poetry, acting, whatever your talent is, we want to see it. This is all about the kids, the energy, and the future stars of Belize shining bright. Bring your confidence, bring your vibes, and bring the family to cheer you on. Don't miss your chance to be a part of Open Your Eyes Summerfest 2026. It all starts at the audition.
With fuel prices continuing to squeeze household budgets, one political figure is stepping in with his own solution. UDP Belize Rural Central caretaker Edward Broster today rolled out a fuel relief initiative aimed at helping working families cope with rising costs. But beyond the immediate assistance, Broster says the move is also a direct challenge to government, arguing that more meaningful action is needed to bring lasting relief. Zenaida Lanza has that story.
Drivers across Belize have been feeling the pinch of rising fuel costs, with global tensions pushing oil prices higher. Since April, we've seen 4 hikes at the pump. The government says little can be done given the external forces at play, but UDP caretaker Edward Broster isn't waiting on that. Today, he pledged $2 off every gallon up to 10 gallons for registered voters in Belize Rural Central.
I am glad to provide a little relief to the residents of Belize Rural Central, and as you can see, they're coming to get their little fuel discount, and I hope that the government will take us serious in terms of reducing the fuel on the Belizean people and stop taxing us and putting the burden on Belizean working class and families of this country, and at the same time giving tax breaks to $1 million companies and so on.
The initiative was scheduled to begin at 8 in the morning, but residents were already lining up by 7:30. By the time our team arrived, the crowd had thinned and Broster's team was moving quickly through the remaining funds.
Looking great. I think we're about down to 1/3 remaining.
So how long do you expect to be here?
Not much longer, because as you can see, the people are still coming and we're processing them, and as soon as the funds are depleted, then we'll wrap up shop. But all in all, it has been good. The people have been giving us good feedback.
Residents told us the relief might only last a day, but every little bit counted, and many urged the government to take bigger steps.
Some people would have said just $20. Well, it doesn't really matter. Every penny counts. I know that he can't really do that much about it because it is worldwide, but it would help to just bring it down just a notch. I'm not saying that it has to come down a big amount, because like I said, it's the world that's being affected by this.
Right now, fuel is so expensive, so if I buy 50, if my money, this will help me a lot. Very hectic some days and very expensive with this lot of traffic, you know. A lot of obstacles, they're working on the highway, you know, and keep burning out our fuel.
It's a little help, and every little help was, because every day I have a run on street back there where it costs me a lot of money to fix the vehicle, and nobody fix the street. I think they could cut down a bit on the taxes. If the acquisition cost is high, we can't help that. But the taxes are sure it will help. Spend the money or leave it more wisely.
The turnout even pulled Belize City residents registered in Ladyville. Family tipped them off, and they made the trip for a shot at cheaper fuel.
I'm buying $50 fuel, and so I just came out because my dad called me yesterday to say, you know, what is happening. I think the initiative is a good one on his behalf. So kudos to him.
Everyone who came had to produce a voter ID with names and phone numbers recorded on the spot. But Broster's team made clear the help was not reserved for party supporters only.
I'm out here with Mr. Edward Broster sharing the love. $2 on every gallon of gas up to 10 gallons. BRC residents, come on out. This will be beneficial for all residents of BRC. Whether red, blue, black, yellow, this is a Belizean thing. Come on out. You're feeling the bunch of the gas hike. Come on out. Let us help you just for today. One day, one step at a time.
Beyond the fuel relief, Broster's team also had something extra in store, a Mother's Day raffle for residents.
We'll be raffling a 58-inch television, stove, microwave, slow cooker, dish sets, pot sets, blenders, comforters, you name it. All you have to do is text into the number 672-3197, give us your name and your address, and you will be placed in the draw, and you will be able to win one of those prizes, including cell phones, earbuds, a lot of prizes.
What is the raffle for?
Mother's Day.
It was a small gesture perhaps, but it was one that landed with the people who showed up. Whether the government heeds to the call for broader tax relief remains to be seen. Reporting for News 5, I am Zenaida Lanza.
A political jab over fuel relief is heating up. Yesterday, we asked Transport Minister Dr. Louis Zabane about UDP caretaker Edward Broster's fuel relief move. He welcomed the gesture but fired back, saying one constituency giveaway can't match the government's duty to serve the entire country. Well, today, Broster responded. Here's what he had to say.
He's challenging me to take it nationwide. And this is exactly what we want. We want the government, his government, to take it nationwide. They're the one who has the power to reduce the fuel prices, right? They really don't care about the people, because if they care about the people, he won't try to challenge me who don't have the resources to do so nationwide. It's the Prime Minister who have been boasting all this time that fuel can be reduced, and he has been raising fuel from 2020, 10 times in 2022, and many times after that. So he can afford to reduce the price. He can't blame it on the war.
He says that the government is already doing what it can to ease the fuel relief on its people.
The 68% reduction on excise tax that the Prime Minister spoke about is peanuts, because you have excess environmental tax and the GST tax that is still there on the fuel, and that is giving the government the big bite from the fuel that the Prime Minister refused to touch.
Speaking with News 5, Broster admitted that the move is a political maneuver, but says it's one meant to push the government to action. For years, it's been a messy, smelly problem along Belize's coastline, sargassum piling up, frustrating residents and hurting tourism. But now, one local company is looking at that seaweed in a whole new way, but not as waste, but as an opportunity. They're exploring how to turn sargassum into eco-friendly building blocks and even livestock feed. If it takes off, the idea could create jobs, cut down on cleanup costs, and transform a growing environmental headache into a homegrown solution.
So there is no real producer of eco-blocks in the country at this time on a mass scale that's going to be able to fulfill the supply and demand that they have over, even in the northern quarter, over the next 5 years. There's about a supply gap of 2 to 7 million blocks. So this is a way for us to turn this, crisis or environmental issue into a great opportunity to help with the community and build on the infrastructure and be able to support without having to bring in imported products. It's going to bring labor to the rural villages, which rely heavily on the fisheries, which, they've been kind of cut short this year. So we're hoping that this is a great opportunity for the government as well as the community and our company to partner up and kind of figure out the best solution to how we can help with the problem.
Lavalle says it's still early days. Testing starts later this month, and if approvals go through, production could be up and running within 6 to 12 months. Out on the remote Turneffe Atoll, one Belizean resort is proving that luxury and sustainability can go hand in hand, and it's now getting regional recognition for it. Turneffe Flats has captured the Caribbean Tourism Organization's Excellence in Sustainable Tourism Award, spotlighting years of intentional, eco-friendly choices. General Manager Angel Marin says it's not just about standout projects like running mostly on solar power or harvesting rainwater. It's about building a culture where sustainability is part of everyday life.
We're 30 miles off-grid east of Belize City, right? So we're an offshore island, and so we're not connected to the main grid. So electricity, water supply, we need to be independent. So we have to come up with innovative ways to collect water and innovative ways to make energy, create energy. So for the last 7 years, or a little bit over 7 years, we have installed some solar panels, and now we're 75% solar. Right, so less emission going out in the ozone layer, and we're utilizing Mother Nature, the sun. Our main source of water is rainwater, right? So we collect, and we could store up to a little bit over 250,000 gallons of rainwater, and that's our main source.
So it's these specific initiatives that you guys were awarded for?
Well, that, and also how we do our operations, right? So we don't use any one-use plastics, or we limit the one-use plastics on our island. We try to use glass bottles and reusable pouches, and even our garbage, we separate our garbage. We don't leave anything on the island. We don't bury anything. We compact our garbage, and then we take it to Belize City. So if we could adapt that in the tourism industry and also in our day-to-day lives, it will make the world a better place and a healthier place to live in.
While the resort is celebrating the regional recognition, its managers say the bigger goal is encouraging more businesses and even everyday Belizeans to adopt small, environmentally friendly habits that can make a lasting difference for the future. After the break, a new beginning, how Stella Maris is redefining inclusive education.
For decades, BEL has powered Belize's growth and progress, lighting homes, energizing industries, and fueling national development. But in a world reshaped by extreme weather patterns, digital transformation, and evolving customer needs, the future of energy demands a new approach. The future of energy is now, and it's not just about new technology, it's about people and how we use, manage, and store power smarter. BEL is leading the transformation, blending modern advancements with the wisdom of sustainable energy practices. Integrating technologies will redefine how Belize produces and uses energy. With distributed generation and smart grid technologies, customers are becoming power partners. Energy is no longer a one-way street. BEL is making key investments that will reinforce the grid to make this a reality, ensuring energy security for generations. At BEL, we are more than an energy provider. We work to safeguard Belize's energy future, which will have demand response programs, where customers will be able to shift use during peak hours to take advantage of the new time of use or off-peak rate structures. Customer energy portals, real-time insights and tools to track usage and manage energy smarter. Smart metering, advanced metering infrastructure, faster, safer service and actionable energy insights. Distributed generation, integrating rooftop solar, microgrids and battery storage for two-way power flows into the national grid. Together, we are bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progreso, Belize City, Orange Walk, and more on the way. We're bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about signal, it's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. SMART, bringing people together.
For the teachers at Stella Maris, doing more isn't a special initiative. It's the daily standard found in everything from individualized literacy lessons to the simple act of combing a student's hair. As the nation's only public school serving students with diverse abilities, this caring community has been a pillar of the country since 1958. Now, through the ministry's More campaign, they are inviting the public to see a transformation that is about much more than just physical buildings. Sabrina Daly has a story of a school where no child is left behind in this week's look on The Bright Side.
The Bright Side is brought to you by the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science and Technology, and UNICEF.
This is James Ramos, 10 years old, and wherever he is right now, we know exactly what he is doing. Watching the news, like he does every night. Only tonight, James has a very good reason to stay glued to the screen. James came from a primary school in southern Belize, where school for him was not a happy place. Just this week, his family brought him to Stella Maris, the country's only institution for children with diverse abilities. Today, in room 7, Tevin Farrell is teaching opposites.
We can say something is either big or small.
For James Ramos, the lesson could not be more fitting.
Have you made friends?
A lot. What he feels now is the opposite of everything he left behind. And when the day is over, Dad is outside. A parent who chose to uproot everything for a school that could meet his son where he is. 1 week in, that choice looks like the right one. What James found here in 5 days, Stella Maris has been building since 1958. And their commitment to inclusion is now at the heart of a national conversation. The Ministry of Education's More campaign challenges a school to do more than teaching. And so the More Inclusive pillar asks a simple question. How inclusive can you be?
We do it every month.
At the helm of this renewed energy is Principal Dorothy Pascasio Griffith, an educator with a clear message. Stella Maris has always done more. What is new is the invitation to a wider community to come and see it for themselves.
It is very important for Stella Maris to do more, especially with the type of kids that we have, or dynamic kids that people would say always left behind. At Stella Maris, no child is left behind. Yes, they learn differently, and yes, we as administrators are going to ensure that we're here to do more with these students, academically and with our life skill program.
Here, the mission takes a very specific shape. 9 dedicated rooms, more than 150 unique learners, and a teaching system built entirely around each one of them. The school operates through 2 pathways: the foundation years, guiding students through literacy and numeracy, and the Life Skills Learning Center, an individualized program focused on independence and communication.
I would want all of the students that are in my care at Stella Maris to know that they are loved, and to know that the administrators are here, not only the administrator but the staff are here to empower them and to leave something on them. So when they leave from Stella Maris, they are confident, they are loved, and they will be prepared for the world.
In room 1, Very Vassal and Olda Medina guide children as young as 5 through their morning numeracy. In room 9, Karen Williams is doing something that does not appear in any curriculum. She is combing a student's hair. Every day, across the 9 rooms of this campus, diapers are changed and children are bathed when they need it. At Stella Maris, doing more is simply part of the job.
We have their wipes, their pampers, we have powder. If they need a little bit of water, we have the water, and we kind of, we daily bath, and we have them fresh every single day. That's our job, and we love it.
Under new leadership, Stella Maris is stepping into the spotlight and bringing parents along with it. The school has launched a new website, a monthly WhatsApp newsletter, and a PTA that's finally giving families a voice. It's all about building trust, staying connected, and keeping parents in the loop. For some, it's more than communication. It's become a space to grow too.
There are tips on how to deal with your child at school and home.
And the community is stepping up in a big way. Partners are donating supplies, meals, and holiday gifts, while groups like the Coast Guard and Fisheries Department are working directly with students. But the biggest impact is opportunity. This year, 15 students landed placements across 11 workplaces, gaining real-world skills where it counts most. For Stella Maris, that's not just progress. It's the mission in action.
The kids did basic things, like, for example, at Publix, to pack a shelf. You understand? Consistently every day. At least we know when the kids move from Stella Maris that a business like Publix can hire those students, you understand? Based on the skill that they learn right from Stella Maris, because it starts here and then we take them out into the real world. And I must say thanks to these businesses that had an open heart to take these students.
And it does start here, in the parents who showed up, and the teachers who have always given everything. And in James Ramos, one weekend, beaming from the promise of a new beginning. His journey and the schools are just getting started. But what Stella Maris has always shown is that doing more was never the goal. It was always just the standard. Looking on the bright side, I'm Sabrina Daly.
Bye. See you tomorrow. Bye.
On the Bright Side was brought to you by the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science and Technology, and UNICEF.
And before we leave you, here's tonight's viewer's voice. On our first story, teen detained after fatal bar shooting that rocked Belize City, Kieran Swazo commented, "It's got to be somebody she knows with and is comfortable with. He has a mask on. They're engaged in a conversation. The bartender took heed when she saw the firearm. However, the victim remained there and kind of hustled until the assailant showed he was serious and pulled the trigger." Turning to Broster takes Rural Central's fuel fight into his own hands, Nolly Toledano shared, "I applaud what you're doing, but leave course to due its course. You were in a position to change it, but no one did." Okay. And finally, on another murder, one mother faces unthinkable loss this Mother's Day. Job Lopez shared. This is so sad to experience the grief of this mother. We need to come together in love. Stop hating on each other. No money in the world is worth a life. I completely agree, Job. Thank you for engaging with us online. Your voices shape the national conversation. Keep those comments coming, and we will continue to feature them right here. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at greaterbelize.com, on our Facebook, and on YouTube. I'm Jamie Rock. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, have a happy and safe weekend. Good night.